What's one of the dumbest things you've ever spent money on? I was drunk and bought Monster Ballads off an infomercial, and I paid an extra $20 for rush delivery because I was drunk and needed it ASAP, and it showed up a month later. When I was like 14, I bought a pack of intentionally mismatched socks that were really expensive. Like, only one of each pattern. Could have bought twice as many normal socks and just mismatched them myself. When I went on a school field trip to Washington DC back in middle school, I bought a $2 bill at a souvenir shop for $20. SMH. I spent $40 one of those amusement park booths where you had to throw darts at balloons. For some reason, I picked out this really ugly 7 feet tall frog stuffed animal. It's in the corner of my closet and still scares me when I'm half awake in the morning. I once went to a novelty thrift shop that had a ton of random it. Ended up spending $10 on a framed picture of Count Dooku, Darth Sidious and Jango Fett from Star Wars since my GF thought it was funny. The frame recently broke and I found out after seeing the back of the picture it was from a calendar when Attack of the Clones came out. Someone just cut this picture out of an old calendar, put it in a frame, and my dumbass voluntarily spent $10 on it. Chef Boyardee beefaroni. One summer, because I was hella bored, I bought some Chef Boyardee beefaroni and put it in my friend's mailbox as a prank. He didn't find it but his parents did, and they asked their neighbors who did it. He suspected me at first, but I managed to get him off of my tail. Now our neighborhoods were fairly close to each other, so I could be over there in a 50-minute walk. Every night, I walked up to their neighborhood. Walking anywhere at 2 am is creepy as hell, but the Boyardee bandit does not stop for demons, and put a can of beefaroni inside their mailbox. After about a month, they call the police to find out who's putting beefaroni in their mailbox. Luckily the police really didn't care that much and just told them to get a camera, which they eventually did. Meanwhile my friend is telling me all of this from his perspective. Right. So I usually know what they do before I strike. So I start covering my face and pretend to hunch over. I have no idea where this camera is, so I can never be too careful. They call the cops again and give them a profile. And now the cops are looking for a crippled beefaroni bandit. After a solid 3 months of this one of the baggers at the store gets word somehow and starts getting suspicious because he sees me buying tons of beefaroni. He confronts me. I tell him the truth. And I et you not, he starts helping me beefaroni my friend's house. We're putting it all over, hiding it in the lawns, porch, fence, you name it. Halloween rolls around, and I dress up as Chef Boyardee. I go to my friend's house and say, your daily subscription to Chef Boyardee beefaroni has ended. Would you like to renew? I hear laughter in the background, and it's the store clerk. Turns out he recently started dating best friend's sister, and that's how he heard. Truth be told, I don't think I've ever been punched harder than when my friend found out. Good times. We still laugh about it from time to time. TLDR. Bought and hid Chef Boyardee beefaroni for nearly half a year around my best friend's house. The beefaroni bandit strikes again. I was just a few weeks out of basic training and bought one of those family lineage with the shields on it and description. I blew $500 or so bucks just to find out it wasn't even accurate. The blanket that makes you look like a giant burrito. It was super thin and of poor quality, not to mention not big enough to cover me. Now I'll never look like a burrito. I bought a pager. The clip snapped. I took it to where I bought it. We only cover the pager, not the case. I walked outside right in front of the window and spiked it out 8F it. Walked back inside and said my pager is broken. Got drunk and started ordering ninja gear off of Amazon and forgot about it until it showed up like a week later. Swords, nunchucks, suit and mask. There was this guy named Don Lepre who sold money making kits, like how to make money with classified ads. I think I invested about $350 and received literally nothing of value. I was young, and being stupid. Looked him up tonight to remember how to spell his name. Turns out he killed himself with a razor blade while in jail in 2011. A pocket pussy. It was back when me and my wife were still dating. We were out of town for a concert, a festival, or maybe just the weekend. And there was this big, heavily advertised and kinda posh adult shop just a block or two down the road from our hotel. The last day of our trip, We didn't have anything planned, so we ended up going into this shop. They had a whole floor devoted to dildos and vibrators, and my wife found one she really liked. I started joking around about how they have all these toys for women and nothing for guys, and one of the shop employees overheard. He brought us up to the 3rd floor and showed us this largish section that was all duck toys. It was like 4 whole rows, each one 20 feet long, packed to the brim with silicone pussy. They had feet with pussies, hands with pussies, tits with and without pussies, headless and limbless torsos, mouths of all variety, and a whole line of head to toe life-size duck dolls. Most of it was really expensive, but I managed to find this one that had a glove attached to her pussy and arsehole for like $40. So I bought it. We paid for our purchases and went back to the hotel to have fun. My wife really liked her toy, and after a while she asked if I wanted to use mine. I thought about it for just a second and then said no. We had our fun, packed up the next morning and left. I stuck the pocket pussy on our coffee table to mess with some friends who were coming over the next day. After the friends left, ended up in the back of our closet and stayed there through a move and more than a decade, until my 6U found it last November. I was 11 and my dad gave me $50 to spend at the mall, so I wandered into a gift shop and spent it all on an electronic vibrating oinking pink pig. I never played with it after I brought it home. Tried to return it, only to be offered store credit. A 155 pack of condoms. A week after I had a vasectomy. Complete brain dead moment. Most expensive dumb thing? A Mercedes 500 SL. Literally bankrupt myself buying parts and gas for that ducking land yacht. Sold it for half what I paid and felt lucky to be rid of it. Dumbest dumb thing? A metallic gold laden painting of a Pontiac Firebird. Chooses white trash, and I had planned on putting it in a family gift exchange as a joke but didn't end up going and got stuck with it. It's currently hanging in a storage room, like all classy paintings do. Big wedding. All that money could have helped so many problems we had later. Divorced anyway. Got that inflatable dinosaur costume. Wore it once around my campus and now I forgot where it is. This past Christmas Eve I was doing some last minute shopping and came across a wine glass shaped like Buddy from the movie Elf, which of course also had Will Ferrell's face on it. With everything kinda being out of order with the holiday rush, I didn't know how much it cost. But I bought it on pure impulse because I thought it was funny. It wasn't until I left the store and looked at the receipt did I realize that it cost $22, which is way more than it's worth. To remind me of my mistake, I now drink out of that glass exclusively and have been for the past 5 months. I have to wash it like twice a day, but I won't stop using it until I feel like I've gotten my $22 worth. A Himalayan salt lamp. Useless, but aesthetically pleasing. I bought a cat eye stencil off Amazon that's supposed to help with liquid eyeliner application. Because my hands are shaky as duck. Didn't check the reviews. It's a crappy piece of plastic shaped like a cat that breaks really easy. Apparently. I wouldn't know. I bought it a week ago drunk. And it's shipping from China with an estimated arrival of the 27th of July. Edit. Literally saved every bit of advice for my attempts tomorrow. Thanks all. ShamWow. I mean, it's got sham right there in the name. But I wanted to support Vince from ShamWow's crusade against Scientology. I bought my oldest a wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man. Gifts for my mother. She complains every single time. My friends and I randomly decided to get into paintballing one year. My first visit to a paintball shop. I apparently felt like flexing my brand new I have a job and no bills because I live with my parents' income. So I dropped about $400 on a paintball gun that looked like an AK-47, the way a Nerf pistol looks like a Glock. We did a few practice fights with each other, then went to a paintball field that weekend. The bell rang. The fight started. Ran out. Aimed at a guy. Gun jammed. And I got shot in the head. Just above the part my mask was covering. That gun never fired again and I ended up replacing it with a cheap Tipman 98 Custom, which as far as I understand is the vanilla sherbet of paintball guns. It worked, but we stopped paintballing forever after like 2 months. So I guess the second gun was also one of the dumbest things I spent money on. $10 plus delivery fee for a $6-8 meal. My quarantine shopping recently led to me purchasing a manatee shaped tea infuser. Connie 2012. Oh man, is it Connie 2012? Boxes. I never save them and toss them in recycling. Well, moving time came around and I was in need of many boxes. So I spent more money than I would like to admit of cardboard and bubble wrap. A tiny alarm clock. Smaller than my hand. It actually functions pretty well though. So it's a good travel alarm. As long people don't get suspicious about the ticking noise coming from your bag. Also a great way to hide the sound of the bomb inside your bag. I once bought my girlfriend a hat and had her name embroidered on it. She asked me if I would ever wear a shirt with my name on it. I would not. This thing Suzanne Summers was pitching on QVC at 3 AM 15 years ago to help avoid getting wrinkles on your face. I was up all crazy hours with a newborn at the time, so a bit delirious. It was some electrical impulse mini machine for approx $150. Suzanne looked fantastic and said she hadn't ever had plastic surgery and had just used this little machine on her face her whole life. I believed it. Spent the money, and when it arrived 3 weeks later I never even took it out of the box to use it. Cigarettes. Smoke free 4 years. Alcohol. Sober 28 years. This year I paid $60 for a Shrek action figure wearing a NASCAR racing suit at a thrift store. I absolutely loved her, but the Great Dane I had was dumb. I'm talking so ducking irredeemably dumb that she would regularly smash face first into walls chasing flies, and run right into a closed door, not see through. When I asked if she needed to go out, she was a sweet loving good girl. Priority shipping during COVID quarantine. I just wanted to see if it would arrive, but I'm still waiting on that order I placed in early March. Has nobody noticed the fact there is hundreds of awards on this post? I'm pretty sure a tiny sticker for someone you've never met is the dumbest thing you can spend money on. All the same, here's my poor person award, AO. In-app purchases. I once blew $1,000 on a mobile game. I dropped $1,000 on Maya, Nazi German Shepherd puppet, from the TV show Danger 5. I got it at an auction the producers of the show put on a couple of years ago, and I don't think a lot of people would be dumb enough to drop $1,000 on a puppet. For those of you unfamiliar with the show, it's a hilarious Australian comedy about a group of spies who are trying to kill Hitler. But the show, at least the first season, is shot like it's from the 1960s. Cute. Here are some of the scenes featuring my puppet, and a cute bonus video of my puppet watching himself. I just sunk around $7k in becoming a licensed massage therapist. Had my job a little over a year and was just starting to get pretty solid when suddenly I can no longer touch people or be within 6 feet of them. At least I paid off my student loans in February. I bought a Kirby vacuum. They got me hook, line, and sinker. I've wasted money before, but this is one thing I always go back to and I'm actually ashamed of. Like, I fell for their whole sales pitch. It was like $2,500 for a damn vacuum. I was on a payment plan for a vacuum. They have a shampooer attachment. It blows as a shampooer. You can take the handle off and use it on the stairs. It's still fkin heavy and annoying. It has a transmission that makes it easier to go across the carpet, but when it decides not to play nice it takes like 8 times the effort to get a room done. Oh, and the way the attachments works is a whole annoying ordeal. Please, for the love of everything holy and pure, Go to Walmart and get a vacuum. You can replace a lot of carpet for what one of those Kirby abominations will cost you. Edit. Not Kirby the fun-loving pink bubble from Nintendo that we all know and love. Nigerian prince. Still waiting on him though. He can't leave his home because of COVID. One of my closest friends is a radical minimalist and a zero waster. She believes in owning as few things as possible and, as best as she is able, existing outside of consumer culture. She's crazy, but in a lovable way. Anyway, last summer, we lived together in New England, and she decides she needs a new wardrobe and wants to donate her current clothing to purchase 1 or 2 items of clothing she will wear. She wants something really plain and modest so she's not participating in fast fashion or supporting consumer culture. I figured she'd go for some thrifted simple blouse and skirt or slacks, but no. Oh no. She decided to spend upwards of $150 on a custom recreation of Maria's habit from The Sound of Music. None of us thought it was a good idea. It was a black, long-sleeved dress, and it was regularly upwards of 90 degrees last summer. She does not heed our warnings. Donates all of her other clothes. She's convinced this dress will change her life. This is what she needs to truly devote herself to the zero waste lifestyle. The dress arrives. She puts it on, and her face immediately crumbles. It fits, but it looks so stupid. It is obviously a costume and is made out of this heavy fabric that is wildly impractical to wear. She can't return it because it's custom. And, I'd like to reiterate, she donated all of her other clothes, but she's unwilling to wear it from the shame. She spends the rest of the summer wearing nothing but pajamas and borrowed clothes. Thankfully, she's started growing out of that particular brand of insanity. She now owns like 5 outfits I think, but I don't think I'll ever see someone waste their money like that ever again.